Oh my goodness, did you see this coming? Because I certainly didn't. Except I did because I've been planning this. I'm gonna censor the top half of that because spoilers, but hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons, and this is Wario Land 4, my next LP. Well, it's kind of not. There's a bit of a story to it, but we're gonna go on normal mode because I'm not trying to show off, I'm just playing this game because I enjoy it. So, story, Wario Land 4. There's this golden pyramid. Wario goes to pillage it because that's what Wario Land games are all about. I've only ever played 3 Wario Land games in my entire life. This was the first one, which is Wario Land 4. I've never played 1, 2, or 3. I then played the Shake Dimension, or what the Americans call Shake It, which is a really stupid name for that game. And then I played Wario World for the GameCube. But that's not relevant, we're playing this now. I'm vaguely aware that I believe a friend of mine may also be playing this at the same time? I'm not sure, but I'm playing this now, and hi, hello. Now, for those who aren't familiar with this game, there's this first, like, the game's divided up into different passages. There's the entry passage, of course, which you have to start with. There's no point really discussing it, but to the left and to the right, there are, well, in the northwest, northeast, southwest, southeast corners, there are different gem-themed corridors. There's Ruby, Sapphire, Topaz, and Emerald, and each one has a set of 4 levels. You beat each one to access the final world. Each one's separate worlds. It's kind of non-linear. Each world has 4 levels, and you have to tackle them. You have to tackle the levels in order, but you can tackle the worlds in any order. And so I'm going to have a random element with that as of episode 2. Because in the first episode, I'm just going to get through all this exposition, explaining the game, doing the tutorial level and stuff. But when we get into the main game, we're going to have some element of randomization, and that's going to be fun. I've designed a little wheel graphic to symbolize that randomized element as well, so I'll be doing something, like, obviously the wheel will be fixed so that it ends on a specific... The point is, I'll be randomizing something in real life, that'll just be a graphic representation of that randomization. I'm not going to fix it, is what I'm trying to say. I genuinely don't know the order in which I'll be playing this game, but I mean, we'll be starting with the Hall of Hieroglyphics because that's the tutorial level. Now, things to explain right off the bat. This game employs what's known as folded level design, where our goal is that frog-cat statue thing right there. And the goal is this thing here, this portal we came in, but we can't go back out the way we came in because it's closed. Now, I'm not going to be getting... Like, this isn't going to be a 100% best ending run, this is just going to be me casually playing. However, there are several collectibles to get throughout this game, and we've not met any of them yet, so don't worry about that, this is just a tutorial. Right, so, first of all, you can collect these things that are worth money. You can pound the ground, which makes enemies change form. I believe in certain forms they're more aggressive but worth more money, or less aggressive but worth not as much money. Now there are these collectible gems, these little red and yellow things. They fill up a little fuck of that bar in the top left corner. Once that fills, you regain a full heart. There are these other little ones that are just worth money, but like I said, I'm not really going... Like, your total money by the end of the game is meaningful, but I'm not going to get as much as possible. What we just collected there was 1/4 of... I don't know what the canonical name is, but there are these coloured stones throughout the... Like, they're divided into quarters. There are 4 quarters in each level, and thus, in every regular world, there are 16 to collect in total, 4 in each level. And you need to get all 4 of each one to access the boss. Obviously, you need to beat the boss in order to beat the world, and you have to beat the world in order to access the final world. So, that's how that works. There are also CDs in every level except for this opening level. Every level except the tutorial has a CD hidden in it, and I'm going to collect all of those. So, kind of like how Jenna Terra's currently doing Donkey Kong Country, and she's trying to get every single Kong letter so that she doesn't completely steamroll through the game. And I'm not going to claim that I'm some sort of expert at this game, but, like, I want to give myself some element of challenge, and so I want to get every single CD, because I know as a child that was a difficult thing for me. It involves more exploration of the levels than is demanded by the baseline gameplay experience, if I can say it in a load of wank words. Anyway, this first level, nothing particularly special, just introducing you to the gameplay mechanics, the first half of the fold, as it were. Because, as I said, folded level design, that means that you go into the level, and the end... I think... How do I describe it? Also, there are these heart medals in every level where they fill you up. You have 8 hearts, you start the level with 4, get that, it'll fill you up completely. How to describe folded level design, though? It means, essentially, they only design half a level, but you make 2 passes through it. There's the forwards pass and there's the backwards pass. We're currently on the forwards pass where, everything's kind of relatively chill. Then there's the backwards pass, which I'll explain when we get to it, but I won't have much time to explain it because, well, you'll see. But now that all exposition's out the way for the moment... Oh, fuck. Nah, I wouldn't give you the gem because it was their transition area. Fuck. Right. Also, good thing to note for future reference, these yellow boxes, you can stand on them until you open them, then they stop being valid solid objects. So, if you need to use them as a step, don't open them first. Also, they do respawn if you replay the level, but you'll need to collect each fragment of that gem thing once. But you do have to get the item and then finish the level in order for it to save the fact that you've got it. You can't just go into a level, collect a fragment, and then pause and quit. So anything that won't be saved if you leave the level is coloured in grey here. Now the other main collectible, besides the gem pieces and the CDs, is this key. You need to find the key in every level to progress to the next level in that world. So, that's a thing. This diamond kind of... The diamonds themselves are kind of proof of what I was saying about the value of leaving these boxes in place if you value getting every single collectible. Use them as a step, because now that we've got the contents of that box, it disappears, so we couldn't have got that gem. Now, I feel like there is a hypothetical maximum score for every level. As I said, I'm not going to go for them, because I enjoy this game. It's one of my childhood games in the same vein as Bomberman Tournament, but I'm not going to go out of my way to... I'm going to have as much of a fun time with it as I can, but this room I don't think I even knew existed, so quite why I went in here, I don't know. I just noticed that there was an obvious thing, and fuck it. Just, as I said, more aggressive but worth more. That demonstrates that. I'm not usually this exposition-y, normally that's Alex's job when we're doing a versus, but this game has a few mechanics that kind of bear explaining to maximise your enjoyment of them. And I believe we are just now coming up to the... Yep. This is like the backwards pass of this level, the other fold as it were. This is where the level itself folds. We have 1 minute to get from here, this switch, back to the portal. So that switch opens the portal, but it also sets the level to explode. So it's kind of important that you get to the goal within the time limit. So you can't go through the exit portal unless you hit the switch, but if you do hit the switch, it starts a timer, and usually that affects the whole level, those blocks, for instance, there are some blocks that are solid when the switch has not been hit, and then de-solidifies when it has been hit, or vice versa. There are some paths you can only go in the forwards pass, some you can only go in the backwards pass, in reference to the whole folded level design thing. I'm sorry this is horribly technical, but it's 11:45 at night, and I can't think of decent commentary, plus, like I said, this game has a lot of explaining behind it, so... To recap. These gem things, 4 fragments in each level, get all of them in order to open the boss door, which is that. 1 key in every level, get the key to progress to the next level. CD in every level except the tutorial and the last level. I'm going to be getting those, they're well hidden, although if I don't get them in my original run-through level, I don't know. We'll see what we do. Minigames. I'm not going to play through these, but you play these minigames, and you get rewarded with medals, which you can then spend on power-ups prior to the boss, which help you defeat the boss. So the more you play those minigames, the more medals you get, and you can spend the medals on various attacks in a shop that we're about to come across now, and essentially the more medals you have, the weaker the boss starts off, is kind of the idea here. So if you had 2 medals, you could... If you have 2 medals, you could buy the apple bomb. It'll take off a little bit of the boss's health, etc., etc., and it gets better and better the more medals you have. And so the bosses start with lower health, and the bosses are timed. I should mention that, but we'll have a free smile, because motivation. And the idea is, play minigames, spend your minigame winnings in this shop, makes the bosses a bit easier if you're having trouble with them. But this is the first boss, it's not that difficult. I do apologise if this was exposition heavy. The other episodes... It's a black currant. All subsequent episodes of this series will be less exposition heavy. Don't worry. It's just, I had a lot to explain in this first bit. Now, there's not really much to explain about this boss. They have health meters. You punch them in the face until they die. Obviously, they have different strategies as to how you go about doing that, and if you charge into that thing head-on, its teeth will hurt you. So don't do that. No, I want to jump over the arse. Oh, come on, you turned too late, you fuck. That was not a valid turning circle, and I take offense. And you're dead. Now, it doesn't apply in this first boss, because that's just the first boss. That's just a tutorial to how this game works. So you've been taught how the levels work and how the bosses work. But all subsequent bosses will have little treasure things in the background. I think that's based on how much treasure you accrue in each of the levels running up to that particular boss. And the longer you take to defeat that boss, the more treasure disappears, and so the less treasure you get at the end of it. That's particularly applicable to the final boss, which I have not done in years, and so don't expect any particularly good fun times with that. But yeah, the idea is beat the bosses quickly and efficiently, and you'll be rewarded for it. This is what I was trying to explain before. There's the Sapphire Passage, the Topaz Passage, the sound chest up the top there, but screw that. I'll come to that later. The Ruby Passage and the Emerald Passage. In all subsequent episodes, I will have some sort of randomizer thing to determine which level I go into. Because the Emerald Passage, for instance, is considered to be the easiest. It's supposed to be the one you start off with. And you see there's 4 levels, each one with 4 collectible gem fragments, 1 CD, and a locked door. You have to get the key from the level, fold the level, do the second pass level, get back to the beginning. I don't know how good the explanation is, but there you go. As I said, I'm going to be randomizing the order I take on these levels. For instance, I could do this level first, and then go and do, I don't know, 2 levels here, and then the first one of the Emerald Passage, then the second one here, then the third one of the Ruby Passage. We'll see how the randomizer treats me. And then the CDs unlock sound in here, but I've never really understood the sound test, because it's not music from in-game, it's just a load of random leet noise effects, there's not really anything. Like, it's not the level music, as far as I recall. Now, I'm going to call time on this episode a little bit prematurely, just so that I can say, hey, that's how this game works, that's how these episodes are going to work in the future. And, yeah, also, you can't fight bosses more than once, so if you do really badly on a boss, then I'm sorry, but once you beat it, that's your lot. And you can go back and play minigames anywhere. And also, you get a discount the first time you play them. I should have mentioned that. If you're about to fight a boss, or certainly the first time, before fighting that first boss, you get a discount on playing the games. That's part of the incentive to get treasure, I suppose, but there you go. So, calling this episode a little bit early because I've covered everything I want to cover in this first episode, but I have been and will continue to be Tessellating Hexagons, and in the next episode of Wario Land 4, well, we'll go into whichever passage the randomizer dictates should begin the project. See you then!